British explorer Alfred Isaac Middleton travelled extra far mileage. In the late 1800s, he crossed many lesser documented landscapes, including thick jungle, pushing beyond the great Amazon jungle before it was a delivery service. Alfred Isaac Middleton, great British explorer, going places presumed uninhabited thousands of years. Is this one of the places that he has been visiting? Before seeing these pictures publicly, that he had discovered empty or rather little occupied cities in the central Amazonia jungales, in the Amazons and beyond. It has been proposed in his illustrious work he has travelled to several adventures to Southeast Asia and to Africa. There is a magnificent book I've been reading about Africa, and it's all about the humanitarianism and getting along with your fellow humanoids. But this particular explorer we're looking at today is a notable British explorer. Why did all explorers come from Britain anyway? Get out of there. Get me out of here. So, British explorer Alfred Isaac Middleton. Did he actually go to this place in the Amazon? Did he discover this temple of inequity? Hopefully more and more information on our ancient and mysterious world is trickling down to us. During this time, and his team expounded an exploration and were undetected, as to say they were missing in action. They had travelled deep into the jungle Amazons, down those multitude of vinyl rivers, surrounded by native tribes and vines and reeds and large plant life, pushing with their machetes through the jungle. They had claimed to have stumbled across some ancient ruins that look just like this, and the ruins do look quite like rockets and spacecrafts made from some kind of hard carved out stone. And it is said that Alfred reported seeing little people there and Aboriginal style Amazonian people there. While allegedly finding the lost city of Delhi II in his search for glory and gold, Alfred, in his journals documenting his travel, his documentary journal and diary was kept hidden until just recently. It is my trivial opinion that turning favourably that he made some of his greatest archaeological intrepid hands on these discoveries. If these are real places in the Amazon rainforest, why are they unscrupulously undocumented to this day? Is the government conspiring to towering solid? Look at these towering solid unusual city structures that, while here, imagine that you are just pushing with your machete, pushing past the thick Amazon jungle, sweating and humid and absolutely sweat pouring off you, feeling the steamy sweat of the heat of the jungle, not knowing if an anaconda could be wrapping itself shortly around your waist, but not to say you haven't been whopping your machete here and there, pushing past the steamy flies and the small toads and frogs which you might lick their back to get a bit of a trip LSD. But imagine then having given up on all your dreams and wants and desires and expectations, to suddenly, once you have given up and you've decided, that's it, we're not going to find anything in this massive jungle, to suddenly encroach upon, out of nowhere, a relic civilization. Notably, pyramids in multiple countries around the world, including Egypt and the South Americas. Notably, the Amazon rainforest, before it was a that you buy products from, was a jungle massive, and the jungle is massive. And pushing aside such large leaves, green leaves, and looking at the ancient Jurassic apparel and the purpleness of the veins of the leaves and the green leaves, he stumbling upon what appears to be a clearing with huge monuments carved from solid stone, with a very small community of dwarfs and midgets living there. An utter, abandoned, ancient civilization that you've just stumbled upon. Could it be that's what Alfred Middleton, the British explorer, did? Who knows? Because the jungle quickly does overgrow. I cannot say for a fact that these stories of Alfred, British explorer of the British Empire, Alfred Isaac Middleton, Horny Middleton, as I should call him, Horny Middleton, for his natural presumptuous high testosterone and his acquittal for fearless, unbridled explorations of the physical adventuring, pushing through the thick brush and the bush, touching the bush and giving it a jolly good rogering. And I will not say that this is an accurate or factual story about Isaac Middleton, for only Isaac Middleton and his crew in 1901 know what they actually did discover and who and what they encountered of large animals and potential exuberant lesser hominid Neanderthal-style beings within the thick of the Amazon rainforest, bearing in mind that the Amazon rainforest is massive, absolutely bigger than Europe, apparently bigger than Europe, for if the Mercator map, which was made by Nazis, is having Germany at the center of the world, then they have totally obscured the fact that potentially the Amazon is a jungle, potentially even bigger than all of Europe. Possibly, then there may be lost civilizations and hominid Neanderthals, as well as Amazonian women and native tribes still potentially living there today, with unusual large and small, and yet undiscovered potentially many species of salubrious animals shifting around, yet some potentially not extinct. Now, the rest of this small story is, if you liked it, was not scientifically accurate, but for entertainment purposes only. I cannot say that any of the events or sightings actually were witnessed by Alfred Horny Middleton. Oh my god, 1 minute. Anyway, back to the show. The show must go on. So here in the Amazonian rainforests, as you can imagine, with your eyes closed, the visualization, when they say in the law of attraction and all them things, that if I deliberately do not provide you with images, then your mind is working, as Albert Einstein said, the use of the imagination is more important than knowledge, or he said something like that, meaning that if I don't show you images and I just speak to you and you listen, potentially with your eyes closed, then you are working that part of your brain or mind which is called the imagination facet, which you're very good at using your imagination and visualization techniques if you continue to listen to such scrupulous fantasies that work the imagination. I cannot say that this is an accurate or a factual story about the Amazons, for I have not been to the Amazon rainforest. you are there now, allegedly in your mind, was British explorer Alfred Isaac Middleton a intrepid, fantastical explorer, or was he just a big bullshitter? Who knows? But he said that he saw within this Amazon jungle, which I'll allow you to potentially visualize. Now, just imagine green big plants all about you, whipping it with your machete. Crew, you are the leader of this particular crew, and you're pushing through, and it's humid and it's thick jungle. There are all species and an array of sounds. You can see in your mind's eye the greenness and the lushness of the plants as you touch the plants, and the brownness of the vines as they wind around the trees. And there are those trees with long outreaching strong branches, whereby the roots of them grow down from their branches until they reach the ground and the topsoil, and then they weave into the soil and become thickened branches themselves. And amidst all of this, looking now through the eyes of Alfred Isaac Middleton, imagine pushing through after weeks and months of exploring and exploration into an unknown jungle, to then he says with his own eyes, according to him, whether he's telling the truth or he's just a big bullshitter, he says through his own eyes, imagine you're seeing it now through your own eyes, oh my God, he says he stumbled upon, in the very tributaries, alongside the tributaries, he stumbled upon something which he never thought he would, seeing these big towering, huge structures made from stone in the shapes of UFOs, and the houses and accommodations made from solid stone in the form of rockets, and so on and so forth. And he said there were giant animals there and giant skeletons. He claims that there were giant, in them days, over 100 years ago, he claims that there were giant species of similar to marsupial mammal type beings that were big and elephant claims, and he has seen such skeletons and such very timid, trepid, large species of animals. And he also declared that he saw a small race of hominid-like creatures, no bigger than less than 1 foot tall. All of them stood on a branch of a tree, like little miniature people, elf-type people. And he also said he saw some strange, do you know, you see in these old textbooks when you go to school and they say, oh, apparently we may have come descendants of other hominid branches with large Homer Simpson type eyebrows and a receding skull and a big massive eyes, and so on and so on. And you can just imagine now seeing people who have got not just hair all over their cheeks and face, but like proper hair all over, very, very thick, looking very, very primitive, looking at you, and they were quite docile. And luckily that this tribe which you have encountered now, which through the eyes of Alfred Isaac Middleton encountered, they were fair game, and they were not, they were neither cannibals nor were they aggressive to him, being the fact that he's from the British Empire. They gave him the upper hand and full respect, and taking his hat off to wipe his brow from the thick sweat of the sweating porous heat, opening up all your pores and sweating out and feeling the radiant sun, and striding beyond the canopies to the basin of the Amazon jungle, where we stand with our boots entrenched in a silt and a dust for sometimes yet yonder mud. And as we trek on in this journey, he claimed to have encountered the skeletons. This is not my story, but I don't believe in dragons, but he claimed to have encountered the skeletons of huge dragons and huge animals, and he has also seen the very peculiar looking, primitive looking tribes, more primitive and more abundantly prominent ridges protruding at a centimeter or more above their eyes. Just imagine for a minute to see the glaze of the blackness of their eyes of this unknown species of humanoid staring back at you, seeing the shine of their eyes and their pupils dilate, and several seconds later, not but a blink of their eyes, and an open hand they present to you, and behold, I do not say that, I say that the animals from the King Kong movie are based on reality, but where did they get the ideas from? According to the Isaac Middleton, famous British explorer, not according to me. Your opinions are well respected here, and you are like it or not. But the fact of the matter you liked is that, if you would like, Isaac Middleton took off his glasses and rubbed them in the 1800s, and he wiped them in astonishment with his napkin, and his men took out their rifles, not to shoot these tribe people, but just as a precautionary measurement, and he wiped the sweat from his brow and put on his hunting hat, his travelling hat, and of course he encountered many, many snakes and small fishes there, and all kinds of small species, as well as jaguar in the Amazon, allegedly. But he claims, now this is just a story, but he, not I, not I, but he, Isaac, Alfred Isaac Middleton, through his eyes and glasses, he claims that he saw some yondering beasts of big legs, the size of the animals he encountered there, though tame and docile. He estimates with his own eye that they size of animals that you would expect to see on a King Kong movie. The likes of the size of animals from King Kong, bigger than elephants, but more furry and mammal-like. And this is what he claims to have seen in the Amazon. Though, wouldn't it be nice? But I remember when he had been trekking through the Amazon, and he claimed to have taken and to have lived with these ancient tribes, and they took him in as resident and almost proclaimed him as king for his superior British mannerisms and British upper lip and his British good charms. I've been reading a book, I must say that I have been reading, which is a rather charming book about Africa, and about the different people and different religions and tribes and humanitarianism and different things about the world. A very interesting book about Africa I've been reading very recently. Don't ask me what book that is. I don't even know the title of the book. But Alfred Isaac Middleton, he had books and diaries upon him, and he claims that he has journeyed not only to the Southeast Asia and Amazons, but discovering many fortified, strong civilizations. He claims to have discovered ancient civilizations which our governments now try to hide from our maps. Why are there restricted zones on our free world? Your thoughts, please. Yet in yonder years of past of old of glory, and that of what not of Queen Elizabeth, the original one, in her thing, and she was Regina, Princess of India, though she was a not so horny. She was the Empress of India, and she was the Queen of the British Empire at the time. So, what to do in the newspapers in the British Empire at the time? It had said that basically Alfred Middleton, great British explorer, found new lost city in the Amazonias. And it also went on in the newspapers to describe that he has gone missing, thought to be left. He left a note with someone saying that right, but he's found new lands in which he is living. Presumably, he claims to have gone beyond the ice wall, as well as to many, many, many fantastic journeys. And I'm sure your mind will thank you for, will like you for engaging your mental muscles in listening to such stories, however fantastical and fantasy they may be. Not entirely true, but these are for entertainment purposes only. So thank you for liking this, and any particular style of my speaking or adventures that you would like, if you tell me what you like, I will do more of that. Until next time, I have just come back from personally about me, I've just come back from a British holiday, and I am going to Marseille with my friend, and maybe we will have to stay in a tent while the who knows back out. It always does. Thank you, and remember to treat other people as you like to be treated. Thank you, and until the next one.